Good afternoon, everybody. Wow, I wish that worked that well on church on Sunday mornings. Let me tell you what happened to me this last Sunday. We share the peace, right? And I can't get everybody to sit back down. And so I go up, and then I have to wait, and then I have to cue the organ player to start the music. And that's when everybody starts sitting back down. But it's like, wow, you guys are just pretty attentive. So Happy New Year. I pray that you had a good Christmas and good New Year's, safe New Year's and whatnot. I was up in St. Louis at an intensive class recently. And the weather was a lot better this year than it was last year. Unfortunately, I brought the cold weather back. So it's supposed to warm up in the next few days at least. All right. Well, welcome to January's edition of our town hall meeting, and I'll call forth Pastor Elliott to kick us off in opening prayer and give you the pastoral care update.
Thank you. We have a neat treat with us today. I'm not going to do all the talking. Yay! Well, okay. Let us open with prayer. Dear Lord, it is so wonderful that we can just crack a joke right off the bat and be at home with each other in this place that you have established and continue to sustain day by day. Lord, you have granted us so much, and we are very, very thankful. We ask now that as we go through this meeting and see what's going on here at the Lutheran Haven, and in the days and weeks and months beyond, we ask that you would guide us as we go, that you would guard our words, that you would open up our hearts so that we might see each other in a different light as living and breathing children of the Heavenly Father. Bless and keep us now as we go. Defend us, guard us, and keep us in the faith all into life everlasting. This we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to have a little bit different layout this time around with the pastoral update. I'm going to dispense with the usual stuff and just give you a couple quick updates before I turn this over to Deaconess Intern Rachel, who's going to tell us about something new. First off the bat, Mary Lou and Sophia are doing well in their studies. They had a little bit of rough acclimation to the academic world. Hadn't done it in a while, but they seem to be settling in really well, and we look forward to their continued good work. It is really interesting to see somebody get a B on their first assignment and be all worried about it. But at any rate, they're doing well, and we look forward to them continuing. Both of them have been approved for their green cards for something like 3 years now, and we're waiting for the U.S. government to figure out that they probably ought to issue it. So they're not quite permanent residents yet, but we're still working at it, and we continue to wish them well as they go for that goal. Worship at the Lodge has started every week on Thursday at 11 a.m. We decided to get that started up. It was one of those things that came out of my sabbatical, and it's going well so far. It is interesting to see who participates and who doesn't, but at the same time, you wonder. I'm sure they're getting something out of it. I just wish I had a clue as what it was. But the Lord knows, right? And that's enough. So we give thanks to the Lord. We have the opportunity to worship and hear his word in that space, and we look forward to that continuance. Afternoon divine service over at the main church is this Thursday, the 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Of course, we'll have the usual goodies and food and fellowship. It should be a wonderful time. I think Pastor Tig is so. Just a reminder that the women's retreat is February 20th to 22nd at the Shores in Daytona Beach. You are to sign up by the 31st if you wish to go. Deaconess Emily is arranging this, so if you don't get signed up by the 31st, I don't know if there's going to be any leeway. I'm kidding. All right. You know she's a softie at heart. All right, worship at the Harbor for all of 2025 came out to a mean average of 56, which is pretty darn good. It's about 11 over where we were last year, 11 folks. And we've, over the past 3 months, have been worshiping 60 or more for the most part every week. which is really a neat thing to see, especially because that means we have more people from independent living at the harbor than we do people from the ALF. It's a great mixture of communities here, and we look forward to their continuing fellowship. One of the things that kind of hurts my heart is the fact that I had to let Rachel go over to the church side. She has served us well for 5.5 months or so, and she is finishing out her last project today. Well, actually next week, but most of it today as she presents. She helped us tremendously with the VBS at the lodge. She helped us, especially during my sabbatical, she led the team. And then, of course, she helped put together the men and women's retreat where we announced today's Neighbor to Neighbor project. And that's what she's going to be coming up here in a moment to speak about. You all know that Gail Whitlock and Linda Kirk pushed forward Neighbor to Neighbor probably 4 years ago or more, thereabouts. And I guess we felt, when I was in business, we learned in Six Sigma training that your customer doesn't feel your variation. Your customer doesn't feel your average. He feels your variation. And when you rest something like that is so critical, like Neighbor to Neighbor, on one person, you're going to feel their variation because that's just the way it works. They have a life. They have many things they need to attend to. And that needed to be solidified. So we have brought that into the Office of Pastoral Care. It is my intention that it'll be run by our other 2 deaconess interns eventually, but we're going to have to take some time to get that up and running. And I think that'll give this the foundation it needs in order to move forward. I'm going to let Rachel give us a little bit more about all that. There is one thing I want to say before she starts, and that's this. This is one of those things that requires as much privacy as possible when somebody calls in for a need. And the reason we chose to have staff take the phone call or the voicemail or the email is so that whatever is on your heart you can say freely and clearly, and it won't go anywhere else. Because what we will hand over to volunteers will then assign will be just the bare facts that will help you with your need. So I want to encourage you to use this as you go forward, and I've probably already said way too much. I'm stealing somebody else's thunder. So without further ado, I would like to ask Rachel to come up and continue on. This is, after all, her project.
All right, thank you. You've probably heard little hints of this, seen some things in your farm boxes, and I'm going to fully explain the plan today of this new initiative that's getting started. So basically, we've just wanted to have this program have a basis so that it can be consistent. So this is a resident-led program designed to match the needs of residents with the gifts and talents of other residents so that people are helping each other out. We are a Christ-centered haven of care, and this is what we as Christians are called to do. As Galatians 6:10 says, as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are of the household of faith. So we've got lots of brothers and sisters in Christ right here around us. We love because he first loved us, so this is going to be another great way to share the love of Christ with the people around you. And as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Whether you feel it or not, every single person has been given gifts from God that we can use to share and support each other. So in this program, Neighbor to Neighbor, there will be a few different services offered. Transportation on and off campus, running errands, visitation, phone call check-ins, and just recently added, hopefully, technology support. So some details on that. On-campus transportation would be someone picking a person up in a car or a golf cart. This can be a one-time thing, like you need to get to the Be Well Clinic for one appointment. Or it could be that you want to be involved in an activity that happens every week. and you need someone to help you get there each time. So there's a lot of things that this could be used for. It's just too far to walk maybe, or you had surgery and you're not as mobile as usual, so for a while you need extra help. So this would be a great service to use to get to Sunday worship or other appointments at the clinic or the beauty shop or here at the fellowship hall. For off-campus transportation, we know the Haven already offers this, but sometimes they're not available. So when that happens, that's where Neighbor to Neighbor will fill in. The resident will always be asked if they've called the Haven transportation first. That's the first step. And then since this is just resident volunteers, there are some limitations. We can't take wheelchairs, but hopefully there are some people that we can help get to some appointments, and we would need a little bit of a notice to plan that. So if you have appointments or need to get to a certain store or the post office, this would be a great use of that program. We're also going to offer services to run errands, similar to the off-campus transportation, just that the resident doesn't need to go along. It's like a one-time thing that they need something picked up or dropped off. So this could be a prescription or a grocery order. Maybe you need to send something, so take it to the post office. Or maybe your grandson's birthday's coming up and you know he just really loves this one restaurant, so you hope someone can go buy a gift card for you. Lots of examples anytime something comes up. The hope is that you'll be able to think of this and see if we can help you out. We're also going to offer phone call check-ins. There are a lot of people around here. We all get lonely sometimes, and occasionally someone doesn't really feel comfortable with a visitor, but they just want to know that somebody's listening, somebody's going to be checking in on them. So these phone calls can happen at varied frequency, once a week or twice a week, things like that. Maybe somebody's recovering from a procedure and they're nervous about being alone after that, and this can be a good way to know that somebody's going to be checking in, and if they don't answer, somebody will look in on them. So anytime they just want that extra measure of comfort or they want someone to talk to, this would be a great way to connect people and have that bit of friendship and support. Visitation, we expect to be a pretty big one. We're going to be offering it in the harbor and the lodge as well. Have people visit just to have someone to talk to, ease loneliness, have a break in their day. So the person being visited would be able to set up, what they're looking for, probably once a week, could be less. So it's just a person to come in for maybe an hour or so. Men will be with men, women with women, and the people who are visiting will have some training on what that looks like and how to listen attentively and support someone. So again, this could be a short-term thing or a more long-term. If you're struggling and you're lonely and would like that, it can be set up and just keep continuing. Or maybe you're just kind of stuck at home or in bed more after something happened, and so you're not seeing as many people as usual and you'd like some more company. This would also be great after the loss of a loved one. After everything settles down, after a funeral, loneliness can really set in, and this could be a great way to have someone come and support you and have a place to talk about what's going on in your life. And then also tech help. Sometimes computers, TVs, phones, they do crazy things that we don't really understand. So if you need help setting up or working your TV or a cell phone, a laptop or computer, things like that, we'll also hopefully have some people who know how those things work and can help in those instances.
You don't have any volunteers for that yet?
Yes, we need volunteers for that if you are good with technology. So those are the things that are being offered, and how this works is there will be residents in the office on weekdays, Monday through Friday. They will come in and see what requests have been received and then call volunteers to see who can fill those requests. And as Pastor Elliott was saying, this is something where Pastor Elliot, Sophie, Mary Lou will be the ones fielding phone calls and emails, and they'll figure out what's needed. So the resident volunteers will only get the facts that they absolutely need. So you can feel comfortable if you have certain questions or details about things that you want to get answers for. You can talk to those people first and not worry about it going elsewhere. All of these services can be long-term or short-term. It's meant to be flexible so that when a need arises, you can call and then either keep it going or end it when the need passes. But we also need to make sure we know that these are volunteers with residents, and so we are hoping that it builds and that this is able to flourish, but we also know that these are all voluntary things. So we can't absolutely promise, especially like off-campus transport. That one's a little trickier. So we are hoping we get more volunteers, that everything will kind of, word will spread, but we cannot absolutely promise that we can make everything happen. So this does take a lot of volunteers. It is very resident-led. You've seen the surveys, and we have more today if anybody is interested. I want to explain that filling out that survey is not a commitment of any kind. It just means that you're willing to help if you are available. So we add you to a list of all the people who said they would help with one specific task. And an office volunteer could call and say, hey, on this date, can you help with this thing? And if you say, yeah, sure, great, here's the phone number for the resident that needs it, you can go help. If you say, no, I'm busy that day, it's like, okay, great, maybe next time. There's not a set commitment, it's just saying you're willing to be asked. And so the more volunteers we have on that list, the less likely the less often each person will be called. So the goal is that the volunteer will not be called more than once a week for each task that they have signed up for. So think of that if at any time you're thinking you have some extra time or you want to get involved in something, you can remember this and sign up at any time or express any interest. So this is the grand opening, you'd say, and from here on out, it is open to be receiving requests for these services. You can send them in by email or on this phone number. The phone for that number is exclusively for neighbor to neighbor, for nothing else. This contact information will be in the scroll and the daily announcements continually. There will be posters up soon by mailboxes. So whichever way works for you, email or phone, you can send in to say, I have this need on this date. Is there a volunteer who can help? So we're figuring out all of those details, and it'll be a growing process, but I think we've got a good system down. And we're excited that it is very resident-led, and you can change that in the future and add new ideas. And so for right now, our lead person is Paul Wiegert. If you have questions or ideas of what else could happen here, he'd be a great person to talk to. And my one last point is just a reminder that we all get lonely sometimes, and we all have injuries or illnesses pop up that suddenly have unexpected needs. And sometimes we might fear being a burden to friends or family members, like we're always asking the same person for help. And that's just part of life, and we're called as Christians to help each other. So please don't let your pride prevent you from taking advantage of these services. We're here to help and just show love to one another. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and that hopefully it can become something that's just part of the culture and everybody knows about as a resource that's out there. So we have more surveys for volunteering if you're interested. Any questions? Yes.
If the person I'm transporting doesn't have insurance, does the Haven provide me insurance, or does that go against my insurance?
That would be on your own. It's just like a friend or a neighbor helping out a friend, so it's not a Haven insurance thing. So we understand if some people aren't comfortable with driving or things like that because of that. So it's up to each person.
When you volunteer, you're volunteering. You don't need like bus insurance.
Right. Yep, it's just a friend helping a friend. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, activities. So just if obviously December was so busy in this place. I'm glad it's over. It's a high demand space, right? So if you guys need linen or any of your group leaders, if you can come see me in the next 2 weeks, this way I can schedule out the year, because people like to take other spaces and trying to, make everyone happy. Next one, December activities, we had, I lost count, probably about 15 parties. Thank you for all the volunteers, whether it was the staff party or the resident party. It was truly appreciated. Reindeer games was a huge success. Did everybody have fun? So we'll be bringing that back, obviously, because everyone did love it. But and then, so next month we have our movie matinee will be Rudy in honor of the Super Bowl. And then we will have a Super Bowl party over in the pub on the 8th. Kickoff time, I think, is 6:30. So there are sign-ups outside the activities office. And then Cooking with Chef is coming back. He is doing strawberry shortcake. So there are also sign-ups outside. If you go outside my office, there's about 15 sign-ups. So before you leave here, sign up now. So, which leads me, on March 5th, we will take our trip to the Strawberry Festival for all those who would like to join us. There are 32 seats on the bus. And then on Tuesday, February 17th, we will have our Shrove Pancake Breakfast for Mardi Gras right before Ash Wednesday, so we can all fill our bellies up, and also sign-ups outside the activities office. And then I'm going to turn it over to everyone's favorite travel agent.
Good afternoon. You know me? Do you? I haven't been gone that long. So welcome, everyone. I just want to go over, someone had asked if I could do a couple trips in advance, like let them know, because sometimes they want to go someplace else, but they sign up for this one, and then I put another one up and they couldn't go on that one. So I'm going to give you 3 trips to choose from. You can go to all of them. You can go to 1, you can go to 2. So our first trip that we're going to have coming up is April 27th through May 1st, and it's a Myrtle Beach show trip. It will be April 27th through May 1st, and it's a Friday through Monday. It's 4 nights, 5 days. You'll have 8 meals. You'll have 4 breakfasts and 4 dinners. You'll have 3 evening shows. You'll have Legends in Concert, Carolina Opry, Music and Memories. You'll have a Disco Fever, Motown. You'll have popular shopping and dining at both Barefoot Landing and Broadway at the beach. And you'll visit Myrtle Beach Boardwalk and Promenade. And the L.W. Paul Living History Farm. All for the price of $759 per person based on double occupancy. If you want to travel single, then it's $934 per person. And then our next trip would be in November. It would be to St. Augustine. We're going to try to get the Christmas lights at night. The information that she sent to me was the daytime trolley, and that's not what I wanted. So I have to put a call into her and ask her to change that itinerary for me. But right now, that price is $400. It may change, but I'll have more information on that as soon as possible. And then New Orleans, the date to be determined at a later date because they don't have the 2027 pricing yet. It's Wednesday through Friday. Yeah, it's a Wednesday through Friday. Okay. I do have information sheets on Myrtle Beach Show and a sign up if you're interested. The only downside to this, I normally do monthly deductions from your statements because this trip is so close. Our final payment is due February 27th, so I'm going to ask for a full payment at this time by the 27th of February. So if you're interested, sign up and I'll get you as much information as I can. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Raleigh, who's next? Vince? Oh, okay. All right, we'll get him out here. There you go.
Hey everybody, what's going on? You waiting on someone? All right, good afternoon. My name is Vince, if you don't know me. So what I'm going to talk to you about today, we have the Shamrock and Run coming up. Who's done that before? You guys, you guys know what that is. If you don't know what it is, the Shamrock and Run, it's put on by the Hope Foundation. And basically what it does is it raises awareness and brings funds to help out with homelessness around the area. This is going to be on Saturday, March 14th, and it's going to be located right over at St. Luke's. It says St. Luke's Church on the website and everything, but where we meet is under the pavilion. So kind of like the St. Luke's School, you'll see a bunch of signs and a bunch of arrows and people feeding you in the direction of where we meet. So pretty easy to find, but for those of you who are racing and aren't comfortable going over there on your own, I usually am right outside the door right here, like around 7:45, and then I'll walk over with you to kind of show you where to go. And so if you guys need a shirt, Lynn is going to be, give your shirt sizes to Lynn. She's going to be making a list over there. We have team shirts, and they're going to be, what is our team name? Do you remember our team name? The Shenanigans is what it was last year. So we're going to be the Shenanigans. Yeah, and so we have won two times in a row for largest group. You okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't realize that it
happens.
wasn't a seat
It happens, yeah.
until I went crashing down. So, thank you. I guess I got everything.
Is this your phone?
Yeah.
Is this yours?
Yeah, that was transportation
Okay.
calling, so I thought I had to take it.
Okay, we're good. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. So yeah, so we've won largest team 2 years in a row. So we're usually they present awards at the end. We're going to try to win it again this year. So you guys come on out, sign up, join our team. You can walk. You don't have to walk if you don't want to. You can just sign up. You can start at the starting line with us and just walk a little bit. If you're not comfortable walking the entire 5K, just walk a little bit with us. And then you can, if you want, you can just walk back to your cottage if you want. You don't have to go the whole 5K, or you can hang out around the area. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's different vendors over there. So walk around, hang out, have a good time, grab something to eat if you want. There's a lot of activities going on. Come on out, do that. We would love to have you. All the proceeds are going to a good cause. Right now, the price is $50. It did go up just recently. There are 530 spots left. I think there's about 700 people that can do it total. It's not just our community. It's not just the Lutheran Haven. It's the entire community, Central Florida community that participates in this. So usually all 700 spots get taken up. in that, so it does sell out. There are a lot of spots left right now, so if you guys it's still early. If you want to sign up, come see me. If you're comfortable doing it on your own, we're going to be, we sent out a bunch of newsletters to your farm boxes, so check those out. They have directions on how to sign up. If that still doesn't make sense to you, come see me and I'll show you, I'll walk you through it as well. These are just a couple photos from the previous years. This is our team. Some of our team members here all dressed up, looking festive, feeling good. I think this was probably before the race, maybe. It looks like. And then moving down. Oh, there's the water girls. There's the water girl. They race too. They get going. Sometimes they're rocking. They set the pace for everybody. They're like the pace car. They get everyone moving. And then here's our whole group. That was one of the years. I think this was 2024, 2025. But yeah, this was our whole group. We got first place that year for largest group. They give out a bunch of different prizes for different best dressed costumes, times per age group, all that good stuff. So feel free to come out. We'd love to have you. I just want to finish up and just say how proud of everybody I am for all the hard work that you're putting in. I see you guys out here in exercise classes, and you're making the exercises look much easier. And you're giving me a run for my money because now I got to work my brain more and figure out how I can continue to make these exercise classes harder. I know you guys like a challenge. So, I mean, y'all did 40 sit-to-stands the other day. 2 years ago, I would have never even considered doing 40 sit-to-stands in one class at the end of the routine, after you did everything. So that's awesome. I think you guys inspire me just watching you work hard like that every single day. So who knows, maybe next time we'll do 60 sit-to-stands. I don't know. But that's it for me. Do you guys have any questions? No? Good. Okay. All righty. Sounds good. Next up, health concierge updates. Yes. Oh, she asked, so when you're signing up for the Shamrock online, you want to join, it'll walk you through the process. And then at the very bottom, it'll say join social team. So you want to click on the drop down box and hit Lutheran Haven. So that way you're part of our team. Yeah, thank you. Yep. All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
Hello. Happy New Year. My name is Deanna, for those of you who do not know me. I'm part of the Health Concierge team along with Jennifer Bonchek, who's out visiting people. You guys, some people here, not going to name names, have been in the hospital a lot. So Jennifer is barely ever here anymore because she's out visiting everybody and helping them to feel supported when they're off campus. So I hope that slows down a little bit because we have a lot of exciting programs that we're doing. And so 2 new things that we want to just bring to your attention is the respite care that's now being offered on Fridays currently from about 10 a.m. to 11:15 a.m. And what that was intended for originally was if you are a caregiver who would like to go to the caregiver support group that's here in the Magnolia room, we didn't want you to have a barrier of not being able to go because you didn't have any place for your loved one to be. So what that is, if your spouse or your family member who you're caring for can come up to the Lantern Room, we have a volunteer resident as well as home health aide, and this is being run through Lutheran Haven Home Health and the Be Well Clinic. We have people there to help engage them in activities while you're at the caregiver support group, but we didn't want it to stop there. If you don't go to the caregiver support group, but would still like to have your loved one be part of that group, you're welcome to join. Likewise, I realize it's only an hour and 15 minutes or so, but if there is a barrier of some sort that prevents you from wanting to utilize a service like this, I do invite you to call me, email me, or The concierge, I know, have gotten some feedback, but I'd like that feedback to come to me, not to the ladies at the landings. We'd like to know what your barriers are, what we can do differently to help you utilize a free program like this, because we do want it to be successful and utilized. And so far, we had one meeting with nobody. We've had 3 or 4 with one participant. So one is better than none, but I know there's people out here that could utilize this service. Second thing is we have built a health concierge resource center, which is located over in the harbor by therapy. We have a room full of resources related to health, wellness, navigating insurances, attorneys for planning your estate or long-term care planning. It's a work in progress, but we actually do have quite a bit of resources there. And we want to have what's called a lending library. So if you have books at home that you think somebody else could benefit from reading, either regarding illnesses or how to deal with the emotions of aging, or a loved one who's got an illness, or navigating insurances, any kind of books that you think would be helpful and you want to donate to the lending resource so that your fellow neighbors could benefit from those readings, you're welcome to do so. We also have a lot of pamphlets and brochures and PDF forms we're going to be adding in for different disease processes, just little tips and tricks on how to handle that. So it is open now. You're welcome to come look at it. It has a sign, says Health Concierge. We should have taken a picture, but I have been very busy lately, and I just asked Lisa to put one slide together so we could have a presence here today. So do any of you have any questions about the new programs or old programs? Health Concierge, what we do? No? Okay. Who's next? Okay.
All right. Well, before I get to the projects update, the first and foremost thing that I want to do today is thank all of you for your wonderful generosity that you showed our staff this last Christmas. Unbelievable the way that you gave, not only of your time, but of your money, other things, even your handwritten letters meant the world to our staff, myself included. And I stand in awe of you. I mean, we get the pleasure of serving alongside of you. You put up with a lot from us throughout the year, right? And so that was greatly appreciated. I know it touched all of our lives in that. I want to thank all the volunteers. Gordon, if you want to stand up for a second, I know you wanted to say something, but I want to thank everybody that served us at our resident Christmas party. And I know Gordon wanted to say a word real quick.
Echoing exactly what he said. We were overwhelmed. I hope you all saw the Farm Box mailer, some of the pictures. It was amazing. This year we got a picture in of hundreds of gift cards on that table, okay, which was really a cool thing to see. An amazing amount of elves that volunteered, so thank you. I see many of the elves in the room here. It was just a joy running point. It was all them working and getting everything done. We had a lot of fun. Come join us again next year, and thank you all for your gifts and donations this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Gordon. All right, I will get on to a couple of project updates just to keep this at the forefront. You've heard me talk in the last couple of town hall meetings about our new digital marquee sign. And it took a while for that to be, put together and all that. Our installer has it. Now we got to wait for the electrical to be implemented. It's not one thing, it's another. Well, hopefully you'll get a kick out of this next thing. So the installer was able to get the permit prior to me getting all the materials I needed to get this thing up and running. Go figure that one out. But so what has happened is that we've got to have 2 dedicated circuits to run the signs, because there's one sign on each side of the marquee. Okay. And we had hoped to use the power that was running off of our harbor building out there where that goes to feed the lights on our current marquee sign. The problem is that those lights are tied into the rest of our site lighting, which is all tied into photometrics. It's a big mess. So I asked them for a plan B, and plan B is that they're going to run the power off of the administration building, which is a shorter run. So they're just waiting to compile the rest of their materials and give me a scheduled date. And as soon as that goes in, the installer's ready to come out, as soon as the electrical's there, and install our marquee signs. So hopefully not too much longer. Notice I'm not giving you a date or any hope. All right. Second, what's that? Haven time, yes, I know everybody's tired of Haven time. The other thing that you heard me talk about was installing an automatic door opener at the back of the lodge that goes into the courtyard area for people, and that has finally been accomplished. They got that done a couple weeks ago, and also it's operational now. So hopefully that'll be beneficial to people who are going in and out of that door over there. So that wraps up a couple of the projects. It's that time of the year where I feel like, every so often I need to address a couple of issues, ongoing issues, especially since we get new residents, but a reminder for our current residents on a couple of things. The first thing I want to address is parking. How many of you actually took the time to read through our new handbook? Okay, yeah, all the way through? Did you take Ambien? or was that in place of Ambien? Yeah, no, exactly. So, there were some changes in some of these areas, right? One of the changes was in parking, all right? And parking is still a big issue for us on this campus, right? Parking is supposed to be temporary on streets. It's not supposed to be a permanent thing on the streets, okay? And I bring that up because our streets aren't that wide. All right. And, most of you all have designated parking spots. Some people park temporarily, which is a good thing. And that's how it's designed to be. It's to temporarily park there so you can unload and offload and then go take your car back to where it needs to be. Notice also that our new rules address not parking on lawns or having your tires in the grass anymore. Our old handbook allowed you to park on lawns right next to your cottage unit in order to unload and offload, all right? That our new policy does not do that. Don't park on the lawns, but only park in the streets temporarily. And if you're gonna park there, please be mindful that if somebody's parked over here, don't park directly across the street from them. Nothing can get through there. Why do I bring this up? Because I had a near miss in my own neighborhood with one of my dear neighbors who needed an ambulance one night, and my streets are every bit as, no wider than what we have out here, and the ambulance could not get through. And I thought I was going to lose my neighbor. So please, parking on the streets is only temporary. It's meant to load and unload, and then please take your car back to where its designated parking spot is, all right? The second thing is, and I run into this back in section 4 more often than not in multiple places back there, and it's when we have a unit that's under refurb. People think that they can just, nobody's living there, and they can just go park in the driveway over there, okay? The old policy stated that if you got your neighbor's permission and they weren't using their driveway, and they could allow you, if you had a second vehicle or something, or had guests over, you could park in the driveway, that's fine. That still somewhat holds true, all right? But guess what? If there's somebody living there, that does not give people the right to go and just park their vehicle in that driveway. Why do I say that? Because oftentimes I have to go hunt somebody down to find out who's parked there, because I've got a vendor or a contractor coming to do work, and I can't get dumpsters dropped off. I don't know when exactly the time that the dumpster people are showing up to drop dumpsters in the driveways and things like that. So please be mindful. If there is an empty vacant unit and you need to have additional parking spots back there, and I'm talking mainly section 4, okay, just call me. I'll let you know if there's something going on, and I can be the one that gives you permission, because at the end of the day, it is Haven property. If there's nobody living there, well, that reverts back to us. All right, so that's just a general reminder on parking out here. The second thing is, wha-bam, our dogs. All right, I feel oftentimes I need to bring this up quite frequently, okay? So as you know, in our pet policy, dogs are not allowed as pets. Let me clarify, they're not allowed as a regular household pet. The only times that you can have dogs are if, one, you have a letter from the doctor stating that you have an emotional need, and that dog is designated as an emotional support pet. Or, two, the dog is a registered service animal. All right, those are the only two times, and in both cases, you have to have letters stating the need, and if it's a designated service animal, it has to have a letter stating that it's a designated service animal. And then, on top of that, even if you have these things, you have to still abide by the rules of the haven. All right, and we'll get to that in a second. Our policy does state, and residents who have those things, whether they're living here or currently and then get a dog, or they move in with one of these two types of dogs, they have to sign off on a piece of paper stating that they're going to adhere by the haven rules. All right, so what's the difference between the two? Well, emotional support dog performs general emotional support. All right, people are lonely. Whatever the case may be, if the doctor figures it out, writes them a letter and says this is the reason that the person needs it, well, that's fine. All right. What is a service animal though? Service animal is an animal that is designated for a specific need. That's the difference between the two. All right. And sometimes, what's the most common service animal you see out there? Blind, right? Seeing eye dogs. All right. But we forget that animals, service animals, come in different sizes and have different functions. For instance, we had a gentleman a few years back that had an animal that was this big, little toy dog. But that animal had a specific function, and the specific function at that point in time was that the animal had to alert this person if they started dozing off at certain points. It was designated to do that. Letter stated and everything. All right. So don't get caught up in seeing a little dog and thinking, oh, there's no way that is, not a service animal. Yes, they can be. All right. But emotional support pets and service animals don't have the same rights. Service animals can go places. They have a right to have access to public spaces. Emotional support animals do not. And it's kind of important to realize that we didn't have any kind of service animal out here or emotional support pet prior to the landings opening up. Landings residents were the first ones that came in with these kinds of dogs, and now we have them quite frequently out there. Walk said dog in a designated area, which is the grassy area. We got two places. One is over there by the landings. It's mainly the wall area and the sidewalk area. Between that area, that little wedge of land that goes back between woodpecker and penguin. All right, or they can take them right out the back door. The landings in the grassy area there, as long as it's on a leash, because I understand if it's raining, you're not going to walk all the way over there. All right, it just makes sense. The other place is the dog park that we built down here in the center of campus. Those are the two places you can exercise the animals. Let me clarify something though. I know it's not feasible for a person who has a dog, especially in the far regions of Section 4. Let's say they were all the way back in Lower Court. They're not going to walk the dog all the way up here to go to the bathroom. All right? So it's okay if the dog is on a leash to take him out in the residence yard, not another residence yard, but in their own yard, on a leash to do the business, but they still have to pick up after the animal. All right? So the other thing is this right here. This is the other problem I ran into. We we understand that residents have visitors that come to see them, and sometimes they bring in a dog with them. People who don't necessarily have the pets don't necessarily know the rules. And if they get somebody that comes, I see it all the time where somebody comes to visit and they take their dog and they say, oh, well, this is a beautiful campus. And they go walking all over the campus with the dog. Please remind, if you have a guest come over that has a dog, remind them of our rules. Okay? If the dog needs to use the bathroom, take them out into your yard, do the bathroom and clean up after it. Or if you want to pick the dog up and walk down to the dog park and let them exercise in the dog park area, please do so. But they must abide the same rules that we're expecting of our residents with these kind of dogs to abide by. I would say this, if a person has a registered service animal, that animal should be wearing some sort of vest or some sort of designation that acknowledges that that is a service animal. Why do I bring that up? Because we have people who have service animals and others who do not, and they're not wearing the vest, and other people see them walking their dog wherever they feel like walking them. Guess what they're going to do? Oh, well, it's okay for them to do it. I'm going to go do it too. All right? The other thing I would say is this. After doing all this research on the ADA website and all that, the privilege with a dog lies with the person that the dog is assigned to, not necessarily somebody else. Okay? It doesn't lie with the dog. It lies with the person that the dog belongs to. So I'm going to give you, for instance, a couple of years ago, the gentleman with the service animal that lived in these upper sections up here got hospitalized. Somebody needed to take care of his service animal while he was out and about. Well, figured, okay, I'm taking care of the animal. I can just go walk him wherever I want to walk him. Well, because he said, well, this is a service animal. Well, that's not the case. The privilege doesn't lie with the dog. It lies with the person who the animal is assigned to. So bear that in mind as well. All right? That's just a little bit about our service animals and our emotional support pets. Yes, sir.
What could be done about non-residents from other places coming on with dogs?
I'm not sure that I can answer that one properly. It's just like being an open campus. We get people that ride bikes through here. We get people that drive through here. We get people that walk their dogs through here. It just can't be everywhere at once. The best thing to do is to not engage them. You can always call if it's happening more frequently or if they're becoming a nuisance. You can always call that non-emergency number for the sheriff's office. They'll come out and remove them because we do have signs on here that say no trespassing. And my sheriff's officer next door at St. Luke, who said during the week, just call him because he's going to be the first one the sheriff's office calls anyways if we call that non-service number. He told me when we had an issue with some homeless people across the street a while back, he said, as long as you have the signs posted that say no trespassing, we can come out and have them removed. No problem. So, that's what I would say about that.
Signs don't mean anything. I see 3 or 4 people every day coming up Woodpecker that are non-residents.
Mm-hmm.
Walking dogs and so on.
Signs don't seem to matter. Well, neither do our stop signs out here either, for that matter.
Yeah, I almost ran over a electric car the other day.
Yeah.
That includes golf carts, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I'll be the first to say it includes a lot of staff members. I'll throw myself under the bus and everybody else in my staff that I'm aware of as well under the bus first. But so are residents. So are people from St. Luke who like to think they can cut through our campus at the end of the school day or in the morning of school. I don't mean to be kind of funny about all this, but it's kind of hard when you're an open campus to keep people off your campus. People read what they want to read and they obey what they want to obey, and those who don't. All right, so moving on. Mary Ann wasn't here today, but she wanted me to bring this up that on February 4th from 11 to noon, right here in the Fellowship Hall, Thrivent is doing a presentation, a workshop. This is for members. And so if you're a member of Thrivent, come on out to that. Lunch is included, but they're going to be going through how your benefits, what your benefits are and how they can work for you, okay? You can call the administration building, 407-365-5676 to RSVP for that. She mentioned something about a flyer, and there's a code on a flyer. I don't know what flyer she's referencing. I don't know if that means Thrivent's sending that out or if she's dropping that off, but what's that? It was in your boxes. Okay, so if you got that, you can scan the code if you're that apt to do so and RSVP that way. All right. Lastly, David wanted me to remind everybody that it's that time of the year again, and ABC Cleaning will be coming out to the cottages beginning next week to clean the dryer vents. Dryer vents. Okay? Not AC vents, dryer vents. I just wanted to clarify, all right? And there will be, it'll happen like, if you remember for those of you who were here for it last year, remember how it happened. It went pretty smooth. Please give them access. They're not coming in by themselves. There will be a staff member accompanying them on each unit to do that. Okay, so that begins next week. This is a safety issue from a dryer vent standpoint because you get lint buildup and all that. That can, yeah, exactly. It could catch fire if we don't clean those things out. So this is what we're doing for our cottage residents. And landings as well, David, at some point? Landings is actually this week. Landings is this week. Okay, well, you all are getting done. But cottages, that's next week. All right, so wonderful stuff. I think, yeah, okay. Any questions for me at the moment?
Where may I get a copy of the new handbook?
Great question. I think you can check with the concierge and see if they have any additional copies. If they do not, you can stop by the marketing building. They should have some over there. Okay? Anybody else? Okay, well, I'll be available as well, all the managers at the end of the meeting, but at this point in time then, to keep this moving, I will call forth, Jerry's going to come up first. He's got something to say, and then he'll get into what this Resident Portal iCare Connect is all about. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to, again, first just kind of follow up on what Raleigh said and to thank all of the residents and who were part of building, planning, and I guess putting on the Employee Appreciation Party. I'm always thankful pretty much every day in my morning prayer that God led me here because of, as I've gotten to know this place, and even before I was employed here and I had visited this place, there was such this good feeling here. And it's the heart of you guys and the heart of the staff that work here. And nowhere has that been more evident than in what you guys came together to do with this employee appreciation, the difference that it makes to our employees who a lot of times don't feel appreciated for what they do, or they're not seen. You know, they're back behind the walls or everything, or they're taking care of different situations for you guys. It means the world to them. It really, really does. And it's just another example of why the Haven is the Haven, that there's this heart there, and the heart of the people that put this together. So all of the residents, I think, feel that. You know, they're always appreciative. And we talk about sometimes what it takes to take that feeling and put it into action, and that's where I want to thank Gordon and his crew. He took that hard. Sometimes it's that little spark that takes all that's already there. It's the fuel is there. It just takes that spark, and it was just a fantastic event for 2 years. And again, just thank you to everybody involved in that. I also want to take a moment and thank Rachel for all she's done in her time here. It's been just the impact that she's had has been wonderful. She's been great to work with. And so with that in mind, let's make sure that we make this neighbor to neighbor program a success. It's in a way, it's a lot of things that many of you have already been doing for each other for many years. It's just a way to more formalize it and make it available for to more people, and to give more people an opportunity to give of what's in their heart. And lastly, I want to go back to what Deanna was talking about with our health concierge program. You know, we keep looking for ways to add programs and services that will help healthy aging and will help take some of the stress out of some of the things that our residents might go through. And these programs are part of that. This respite program, I really encourage people to take advantage of it. And it's a new program. just like any new program that we start, we're going to do some things right. We're going to miss some things. We're going to do some things wrong. So give us your feedback. We want it because we want it to be successful for you and for your loved ones so that they can enjoy their aging as much as possible. So please support that program, support the Neighbor to Neighbor program. This is just a very special place. Now for the fun part. I'm going to bring Karen up here, Karen Hill. We talked about at a few other meetings about the resident portal and the iCare Connect. And I wanted, before we get started on the presentation, I just want to say this, we're going to copy this presentation and it will be available at the concierge desk sometime in the next, by the end of the week, we'll have copies there. So if anybody wants a hard copy, we're going to have some screenshots on here for folks. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Karen, and then I'm going to make an attempt to switch to the right PowerPoint, and we'll see if we get out of here by 4.
Thank you. Oh, just kidding. Trust me, I won't go that long. Another nail biter of a presentation, right? I'm just going to scoot this a little bit. So we've had questions about the iCare Connect, and that's something new. There's some enhancements on there, more information for you to find out just at your fingertips. But it is kind of technology, so we want to share with you how you can do that. Now, the overall picture is, and I've kind of offered to do this, if you have questions about iCare Connect, you may call me directly. I will be happy to arrange a couple of groups and we can get together if you have questions in the landings. Or I also know when it's technology, it's a lot easier to do on your home computer yourself. So if you do have questions, I would be more than happy if you contact me to come to your residence and show you on your computer how to do it. We just want you to get comfortable with it. If you get some strange messages, let me know, and I'll make sure that they get to the right hands to get taken care of. So, all right, let's talk about the portal. And on this handout that you'll be getting, there will be these instructions, and we're also going to include screenshots, so you can do either way. But first off, you know your welcome page. You're all familiar with that, I'm sure. And you're just going to go to Haven Portals on here and log in as you usually do with your assigned username and password. So then to get to the iCare Connect, this is the page I'm sure you're all familiar with, our home page. Right here on the bottom right-hand side is iCare Connect. Just click on that. If you click on that and you get a message, let me know, because we may have to look into some things for you. Okay, next, this is the page you're going to see when you connect to that. And on this page, we had news, transactions, and work orders. That's okay. That's all right. You have a right to do that. Okay, so on here, we're going to look at transactions first. And on that page, you're going to be able to see the transactions that take place, all of your food transactions, at the Lighthouse Cafe, or the Light Bite Cafe, the Lighthouse Restaurant, but also the Harbor. So you're going to be able to see now the Galley, which is the restaurant, and the Crow's Nest, the pub. So those charges you'll be able to look at even more in detail, but you may also see a line that says concierge. If you purchase anything from the Be Well Clinic or other services, it will also be under that you can see. And if you want to look in detail, go ahead and click on the account charge line to view a specific one, and we have...
Well, I just want to add that these charges are when you use your fob or they
Yes.
put something in. So if you pay by credit card, you're not going to see those transactions on iCare.
Right. Okay, yep, exactly. And then also, it will list resident payments on there too. So if you send a check in to pay for what's been charged on your fob, you will see that credited on that line. And then this is the page that you're going to see. We need to put an arrow here. I forgot about that. But if you click on technically anything in that line, it will bring that specific one up. For instance here, the $20 charge. If you click on that, here's your receipt. So you can see exactly what was purchased, the date, and any details on the transaction. So now we're going to go back and we're going to look at work orders, because that's something else I know we've all had experience with. And through the work order activity, you will still initiate a work order through the concierge. So give them a call. And then if you want to know a little bit more about it, well, where is it? It's taking a little bit longer, or is it in process? You're going to click on work orders, and then you're going to see everything here. This tells all of the completed ones. And here's a new one. I want to see what's going on with that, right? So I can click up there, again, anywhere basically on that line. And here we are. This is what you're going to see. Oh, I forgot to tell them I'm having trouble specifically with spiders. One came in the other day and another one. So I want to see what they're doing about that, but I want to let them know I have that specific problem. So I want to start a conversation with them. Can you go back one? So see where it says conversation? Okay, we're going to add a new comment. And you're going to be able to add a comment. We're going to walk you through how to do that. So click on add new comment. And this is what you'll see come up. So you'll be able to write whatever you want in there. Please note, I specifically have an issue with spiders. So you can do that, and then you're going to hit post, which means you're going to send it to the account. And after that, if you're all finished, you're going to click done up in the upper right-hand corner. And then you've sent that. And you may get a message back too, right? So this is where you would keep track of what's going on.
And also, when you send that message, whoever has been assigned that work order, when you send that message, when you post it and you hit, post it and hit done, the technician or the maintenance member or whoever is going to be that work order has been assigned to will get that message on their phone, so that so if they're out in the field and you send them a message, they don't have to come back to the office. They just look at their phone. It'll say, hey, you've got a new message, and then they'll be able to see that message and either respond or do whatever, or at least make note of what your comment is. And yeah, so back to you, Karen.
Thank you. Happy to help. All right. So we're done with that. I've let them know. So that's it. It's really pretty easy. Once you go through it a time or two, it is easy. But just to remind you, with any issues or any problems with that, please let me know. I can be the point person on that. We will have copies of this handout, like Jerry said, by the end of the week over at the landings. So just help yourself and give me a call at any time. I'm more than happy to help with whatever you need on that. Thank you.
Okay, and yeah, again, thanks to Karen. Another example of kind of a neighbor-to-neighbor thing, right? Good heart, good people. Thank you, Karen, for, yeah.
You say they respond to you. Do they respond to your personal email, or how do you get their response?
Okay, the question is, when a technician responds to your comment, where does that response sent? It's sent to your, number one, you'll be able to go and check on, like if you went back onto the iCare Connect and pulled up the work order, you would see their comment. But if you have an email address on file with us, then you should get an email from them saying that there's a new comment. I'm not sure if I can't remember if the email to you contains the comment or if it just says, hey, there's a new comment, go check. I can't remember which of that is. Yes, sir. That way I don't have to repeat it. Jeff keeps holding the sign up at me.
Yeah, two questions, if you would. One, if we're able to enter comments on a work order, it's not a big leap to be able to enter the work order itself online instead of having to use the concierge as a middleman. Has that been considered at all?
Absolutely. So I'll get you the second question. Yeah, the answer to the first question, I assuming you all heard it, since you can comment on them now, would you be able to actually enter them? And the answer is yes, we are working on that as a next phase to be able to do that. And I don't think anybody wants that done more than Jeannie and the concierge people. So that's kind of our next layer. And you had a second question?
Yeah, I did. The second question is when we're communicating with whoever the technician is or the person that's going to come out, are we able to talk in the comments about scheduling that and say, I'll be home Wednesday afternoon, for example, or something to that order to try and get some parameters put around when people show up?
And the answer is yes. You can include that in your comments. Is that fair, David?
That's fair with an asterisk.
Okay, come up here. Here he comes, walking down the street, da 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 da, to everyone he meets.
So I would say yes, that's very fair. And in our attempt to provide services to you, we would hope that you could just sit there and say, "Well, I'll be home Tuesday at 3:00. If you could swing by and take care of it then." But I'm not going to sit here and say that that's 100% the way it's going to work either. So yes, go ahead and put that request in there. We will attempt to meet that. There may be how about if I get there at 4 because I'm over at this cottage doing something, you know what I mean? Something to that effect. But yes, go ahead and put those requests in there.
And since you asked about some of the future things, one of the items that we're working on, and it's a very complicated behind the scenes thing, and that's why we try and get the pieces in place as they can. So this was a relatively easy thing, even though it took a little while. What we would like to be able to do eventually is when that is scheduled, when David schedules it, if there's a specific date and time that it's scheduled, that you guys get notified that it's scheduled so that you can plan when they do it. And right now we don't have that ability to do that, and it would be an automatic thing. So David schedules it, and then it would send you and the idea is if we also have a cell phone number, you would have an option to say, text me updates on these on my tickets or whatever. We're not there yet, but that's the vision. Right, and so the comment was it would be really nice to know when we were coming, the way that Spectrum, yeah, a window, and that would, this scheduling side would kind of allow it. Right now, I think you can pretty much count on, from a window perspective, sometime between 2026 and 2027. That we'll be able to get there. So just for planning purposes, so you can kind of set your schedule. But yeah, we absolutely, that's part of the reason of being able to send out those to give you that idea of what's going on. And also, if it was scheduled for a certain time, they would be, and they got held up, maybe somebody's pipe burst and they had to go to it, they could send out a message to you to say, hey, this happened and we won't be able to be there today. So it's just about communication, sharing information, and we really are working hard to try and meet those needs. Yes, ma'am.
One more thing I noticed when I was in there too, if you're in the iCare and you step away from your computer for a little while and come back, it will time out. So then you need to sign in once again. So just if you get a strange screen that you don't recognize, it probably had signed you out. Thanks.
Yeah, that's true. And also, one of the things when Karen mentioned if you get an error message or account not found or something like that, let Karen know or let myself know, because there's a lot of integration between systems, between the billing system, the iCare Connect system, and the portal system. They're all different, and so sometimes something gets broken or not updated, and the sooner you can tell us that it's not working the way Karen described it or the way you think it should, let us know, because typically it's going to be something that we can fix. And most of the time it has to do with with a blip in that chain of communication, in that communication line, and usually that can be fixed. Yes, sir.
Will we be able to use it on our phone also?
We are about there. So the question was, will you be able to... I didn't even let you get the sign up to remind me to repeat the question. The question was, will you be able to use it on your phone? So technically, you can, or your iPad, you can right now, but it's not a good experience. So it's you can do it, but it's no fun. We're working on a mobile app that similar to, we're kind of beta testing that with the technicians now on their phones, and we're working on an app that we would be able to roll out to residents to be able to use an app that will make the interface will be much easier to do. Okay, any other questions? All right, I think that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for all you do and for being part of the Haven.